The threat of coronavirus has officially altered Texas Tech's schedule for spring break and the near future. Coming up, we'll have all the details and latest developments.
Classrooms around campus may not be the only facilities empty as we head into the break. Find out how the Big 12 Conference is responding to the COVID-19 situation next.
And the Texas Tech baseball team headed into the South to take on a top 25 team. But could the Red Raiders keep their 12-game winning streak intact? We'll have a look at the highlights from that game, as well as some breaking developments regarding Texas Tech's schedule in sports.
This is the MCTV Weekday Update.
Welcome to the Thursday edition of MCTV Weekday Update. I'm Evan Ray.
And I'm Krizia Williams. We have breaking news today as Texas Tech University has officially announced changes to the spring semester schedule in the wake of the coronavirus pandemic.
That's right, Krizia. Students, faculty, and staff have received an official memo from the Office of the President this morning detailing plans to limit the risk of COVID-19 on the TTU community. The most immediate change stated in today's announcement is that spring break has now been extended from this Saturday to Sunday, March 29th. All classes scheduled during the week of March 23rd through the 27th are now canceled, including any online classes or other non-standard courses that have not been meeting on campus. Then, on March 30th, classes resume through remote instruction until further notice. Instructors teaching an in-person course have now until the 30th to make arrangements to teach their class online to avoid classroom instruction. It will be at the instructor's discretion to decide how they will handle any class requirements that would normally be done in a lab or any other environment that students may not have access to remotely. Along with class cancellations, most, if not all, university events are expected to be canceled until in-person instruction resumes. Even though students will not meet for classes, the residence halls and campus buildings will remain open like normal at this time. Faculty and staff are still on duty and will maintain their normal duty schedule until further notice. There is no word yet on whether or not student employees will be allowed to work through the schedule changes, but it has been stated that no student will be forced to work if they do not feel comfortable being on campus. With the continued threat of a coronavirus outbreak, the university officially launched an information website for the tech community yesterday morning. The website contains details on the virus, as well as continuous updates on the university's response to the situation. To access the coronavirus website, visit emergency.ttu.edu and click on the COVID-19 link near the middle of the page.
Along with the academic changes here on campus, university athletics are also being affected by the threat of the coronavirus outbreak. Around 11 a.m. this morning, the Big 12 Conference announced that all remaining games in the 2020 men's and women's championships were canceled. The decision came only 30 minutes before Texas Tech and Texas were scheduled to kick off the second day of tournament play. The choice to cancel came after several other conferences championships were called off to concerns over coronavirus-19. This was also a change from an announcement the Big 12 made yesterday afternoon that the game would continue to be played without fan attendance. All of those changes came only hours after the NCAA announced that all games in the men's and women's tournament would be played without fans. At this time, March Madness is still scheduled to start next week, but there is speculation that the tournament may be canceled or postponed. Texas Tech Athletics will release a statement with information on how all spring sports schedules will be affected later today. Currently, Texas Tech baseball is the only team with events scheduled on campus this week. But softball, tennis, track, and golf all have plans to compete in other locations between now and Sunday.
With the sudden changes to the academic and athletic schedules, there have been questions whether or not the Texas Tech University system has been directly affected by COVID-19. According to an email sent out earlier today, the university is still coronavirus-free. In the email, President Lawrence Skuvanek said, quote, "At this time, there are no confirmed or suspected cases among the Texas Tech community, including those who are currently studying and working outside the United States. We will continue to provide updated information to the campus community via email, the website, and social media. The email goes on to say that if an urgent update is necessary, the university will use the tech alert system to send out information.
The coronavirus may be stealing most of the headlines, but there still have been a lot of other things happening on the tech campus before students head out for spring break.
Last week, one department held the second event in a series of monthly discussions focused on women's issues. MCTV's Ruby Aguirre stopped by Doak Hall to find out more.
Here, the Department of Women and Gender Studies met for their Feminist First Friday, where they came together to discuss humor within feminism. This month's topic was Taking Feminist Humor Seriously, featuring Dr. Julie Willett, affiliated faculty member in the Department of Women and Gender Studies. Willett discussed a history of humor and how it can change our thoughts on important social movements, such as feminism.
The beauty of studying humor and comedy is that we're looking in some ways at something that transforms us, that makes us feel different, and allows social bonds to be created.
During the discussion, Willett drew inspiration from comedians such as Wanda Sykes to explain how females have taken traditional male humor topics and have taken it back as their own, the main one being the female body. Willett says that finding the line between seriousness and comedy can be a difficult balance.
When you insist on being taken too seriously, it sets you up as the straight man. You're the person it's more easy to mock. And I think feminists with a strong moral compass are often in this difficult situation of trying to point out wrongs in society, but also can very easily be seen as not funny.
Students attending the event felt the topic was important and now have new ways to incorporate it into their everyday lives.
And I think a lot of people give feminism a bad rap because they don't have information on it. And so conversations like these, I think, are very productive. So you understand what the whole movement is about, what the philosophy is about, and what are people doing to mitigate these issues and just make a more better place.
I think for me the most interesting and fun part was just learning the history behind how people utilized humor and how it came about to be such a, I guess, problematic and also helpful, tool in America. So yeah, that was interesting.
Despite the discussion being centered around feminism, Willett believes that humor can have a wider effect on a student's health.
I also think in terms of students' everyday lives, I think humor is part of self-care. Humor can be escapism, but humor can also transform negative emotions like shame into really positive emotions. Humor is something that allows us, again, to talk about really difficult issues.
For MCTV, I'm Ruby Aguirre.
As with most university events, Feminist First Fridays are officially on hold until further notice. If students return to campus, there are still 2 more events that could take place in April and May.
The week before spring break can often be a stressful time as students finish up projects, midterms, and other schoolwork before leaving town. With that in mind, the Students' Activities Board gave students a fun activity to escape their stress and get creative. On Tuesday, SAB hosted their Etch and Sketch event in the sub courtyard. From 11 a.m. to 3 p.m., students could stop by, pick out a piece of glassware, and use some special stencils to make a personalized item to take home. Students could choose from a variety of visual options that were then etched into the side of the glassware.
We have letters, we have numbers, and we have little pictures. So on mine I put A with some stars and a leaf on the back, and there's other things like dog-related things, Valentine's Day-related things, little fairy stuff, castles.
Once students were done with their projects, the glassware was washed off to reveal the final product. Etch and Sketch was one of SAB's last events before the spring break holiday. Earlier this week, SAB had released the schedule for this year's Diversity Week event, which would have taken place right after spring break. With classes now canceled until March 30th, there's no word if Diversity Week will be rescheduled later in the semester.
Late last year, the campus community was shocked after a racist video created by tech students made the rounds in an online chat room. In January, the campus decided to take steps to help avoid future incidents, and last week, university administrators gave an update on those actions. Last Friday, President Lawrence Skuvanek led a town hall session at 8 p.m. in the Sub-Matador room. The town hall was titled Texas Tech Campus Community Update on Student Culture. During the event, Skuvanek, along with other campus leaders, talked about the status of several initiatives aimed at bringing more awareness to diversity here on campus. The plans include the establishment of a multicultural center in the Student Union building, attempts to increase enrollment of minority students, and efforts to bring more Black faculty and staff to Texas Tech.
So the hope is that as you all are seeing us here, that you do not see us as making edicts or doing anything that would cause you to believe you are not a critical part of the solution we have to make collectively.
Last week's town hall also addressed several policies that would require student organizations hold their members accountable for any racially motivated behavior. Those policies would also include penalties that could be enforced, along with voluntary cultural sensitivity trainings for students violating the Student Code of Conduct. The new policies are expected to be in effect in the fall.
Speaking of diversity, members of the Lubbock business community recently came together to discuss a range of topics regarding the city's diverse population. MCTV's Pierce Reeves took a short trip across University Avenue to find out more about the annual event.
Last Tuesday, the Lubbock Chamber of Commerce held its third annual Diversity Summit at the Overton Hotel. The event had an emphasis on educating the Lubbock business community on doing better business through diversity. Having been influenced by other parts of the nation, Corey Powell from Texas Tech's Office of Institutional Diversity played a huge part in tailoring this event for the Lubbock community.
Being mindful of our climate, being mindful of the things that our community is dealing with and are interested in. And so some of the things that may be in a different region do not apply here. How do we communicate better? Utilizing marketing strategies and things of that nature to better show that we really are mindful of inclusion and equity and diversity. And so we were able to specify those things that would be of interest to those within our community.
This year, Powell moderated on the Did I Say Something Wrong panel discussion. This discussion focused on gender and racial biases, as well as how to communicate effectively through diversity. Shell Hillis from Leadership Lubbock found his panel to be engaging and educational.
It was a really neat panel discussion where we had Q&A and really got to learn from a diverse group of people just how to communicate with each other better.
Although the event was hosted by the Chamber, many Texas Tech students were in attendance.
This was a great opportunity for them to learn because they're preparing to go out into the world that is very globally oriented. So it is broader than Texas, it's broader than Lubbock. And so having experience and exposures, being able to network with individuals who represent business community and have connections around the world is great. Utilizing the resources that are on campus.
For more information on the Office of Institutional Diversity and how to get involved, visit their offices in Doak Hall, the Administration Building, or online at depts.ttu.edu. For MCTV, this is Pierce Reeves.
The first day of spring is still a week away, but the South Plains area got a sneak peek this week.
That's true, Krizia. Sunshine and warm temperatures greeted the Tech campus, making for a beautiful start to the week. After a wet and gloomy day on Sunday, temperatures began to rise, with highs nearing 80 degrees yesterday afternoon. The spring-like conditions, along with the rain, fall over the weekend have led to an increased plant life on campus. Trees are blooming around Memorial Circle, and grounds maintenance have installed the first round of tulips and other colorful plants that can be seen around campus through graduation. Even the fountains in Memorial Circle and the entrance to campus have been given the green light as freezing temperatures are slowly disappearing from the forecast.
So after several days of beautiful weather, it looks like some changes may be on the way. MCTV's Lexey Hopkins joins us in the studio with the latest look at the forecast. Lexey?
We did see those warmer temperatures around Lubbock, but tonight there will be a cold front that will make its way into our area, leaving us with those chillier temperatures and rain chances for the weekend. But as we take a look at today, we will be seeing a high of 78, mostly cloudy and warm with westerly winds at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Cold front making its way into the night, leaving us with a 60% chance of rain, low of 51 degrees, rainy and cool with southwesterly winds at 5 to 10 miles per hour. The rain will continue throughout Friday morning, leaving the temperatures pretty low for us, but Aspermont's seeing a low of 53 Dickens seeing a low of 50, and then traveling up north where Friona will be seeing a low of 45. And then the rain will be sticking around throughout the evening, causing the temperatures not to increase by much throughout the area. Muleshoe seeing a high of 54 for Friday evening, 58 in Post, and then Guthrie seeing a high of 56 degrees. The rain will be sticking around throughout the weekend, causing us to see a lot higher rainfall percentages than what we have the past couple of weeks. Muleshoe seeing a half to an inch of rain, Lubbock seeing 1.5 to 2 inches, and then off the Caprock area seeing 1 to 1.5 inches of rain. And if you are traveling for spring break, it will be pretty mild throughout the region, with Midland seeing a low of 55 degrees on Saturday, going into Dallas area seeing a low of 61 degrees, and then San Antonio seeing 67. And the temperatures will continue to be pretty mild except for the southern area seeing warmer temperatures, with San Antonio seeing a high of 82, Dallas seeing a high of 74, and then a little closer to home, Midland seeing a high of 76. And if you are planning on staying in the Lubbock area for spring break, just know that it will be rainy and cool. So high of 56 on Friday, 47 for the low, 60% chance of rain with southeasterly winds at 10 to 15 miles per hour, warming up a little bit on Saturday because the sun will make its way out. High of 71, low of 46 with westerly winds at 5 to 10 miles per hour. And then Sunday, the temperatures will go back down with those rain chances increasing again. 70% chance of rain, 61 for the high, 52 for the low, and easterly winds at 5 to 10 miles per hour. So if you are traveling around the Lubbock area, just make sure that you are careful, as we do all know that the Lubbock roads tend to flood a lot easier. So if you do see high waters, make sure you don't drive into them so you can make it to your destination safely. That's a look at our forecast. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Lexi. As we mentioned earlier, college athletic schedules are up in the air as conference officials decide how to handle the threat of COVID-19. But before the cancellations set in, the Texas Tech baseball team hit the diamond to take on some top 25 competition. Starting on Tuesday, the Red Raiders met up with the Mississippi State Bulldogs at MGM Park in Biloxi for the 2-game series. Tech went into the game ranked number 2 in the nation, and the Bulldogs are currently ranked number 10. In Game 1, Tech got on the board first, scoring 1 run in the 3rd inning. Tech was able to keep Mississippi State scoreless through the 4th, but after that, the Bulldogs' bats lit up, scoring 6 runs through the 7th inning. Tech could only put 2 more runs on the board, and the Red Raiders lost 3-6. Yesterday afternoon, things didn't get much better for the Red Raiders as Mississippi State swept the series by winning Game 2, 3-2. The Bulldogs limited Tech to just 5 hits on the night, bringing Tech's previously explosive offense to a halt. The series loss brings the Red Raiders' 12-game winning streak to a close and adds 2 more losses to bring the team's current record to 16-3. Tech was scheduled to start Big 12 play at home this weekend against West Virginia, but as of noon, the series has been postponed due to travel restrictions placed on the Mountaineers in the wake of the coronavirus situation. There's no word on if or when the series will be made up this season.
The Texas Tech softball team were also in action yesterday as they took on the Hawaii Rainbow Warriors in Honolulu. The Red Raiders were successful in their first outing at the Rainbow Wainis Classic, defeating Hawaii 5-0. Senior Shelby Henderson hit her first home run as a Red Raider, and pitcher Erin Edmondson picked up the shutout win to improve her record to 10-4 on the season. The victory also extends the team's current winning streak to 7 games after a successful weekend in the Janine McKinney Memorial Classic at Rocky Johnson Field. As of right now, Texas Tech softball is scheduled to take on Minnesota and Drexel tonight in their next 2 games in Hawaii. The first pitch for the Minnesota game is set for 6 p.m. with an 8:30 p.m. start scheduled for the nightcap. You can keep up with the status of all the games by visiting texastech.com.
Last week, Tech Student Government Association held their annual senator elections on Wednesday and Thursday, but the elections didn't keep the group from hosting another event here on campus.
MCTV's Samantha Olson has a look at the special event that gave a voice to some of the university's most prominent women all in one place.
Last Thursday, the Student Government Association hosted a Red Raider Talks event at the Fraser Alumni Pavilion. In honor of Women's History Month, last week's event was titled Her, Framing Leadership Through Her Vision. Miranda Davis, SGA External Vice President, says she was inspired by other similar events around the country to give women a voice. The event was made up of several speeches by Texas Tech faculty, staff, and students covering a range of topics to empower women.
I have a lot of different topics pertaining to women, like Lauren touched on a few about education, affordability, debt, sexual assault, physical assault, all those types of things that are really impact women directly on college campuses, because it is statistically proven that women collect more debt than men do on average that pursue a higher ed degree. And so I think that just doing research and really looking into the different topics, what the mission of this event, I wanted it to be. And at the end of the day, I wanted professional personal development for every single Red Raider on this campus, and just to really implore them to be confident in all of their academic and professional endeavors.
Krizia Williams, a doctoral candidate in the Department of History, was one of 12 speakers who took part in last week's event. Williams believes that this year's Red Raider Talks was a great way to honor women in the month of March.
I think the most meaningful aspect of this is sort of the seed that's been planted for continuing tradition of inviting students and faculty together, especially for this month of Women's History Month, and to focus on women's issues and women's issues in higher education and student experience and all of these other so many rich areas of discussion.
The event featured speakers from around campus, including Chief Diversity Officer Dr. Carol Sumner, Dean of the Rawls College of Business Dr. Margaret Williams, and Associate Dean of the Honors College Dr. Eliza Wong. Davis says she hopes bringing in women from throughout the university will help increase interest in the event in the future.
I think it's just so important that so many women have talked today about confidence and what it means to just stand up and say something, or whatever it may be the scenario, that it takes courage to do in action. And I just want, like I said, to implore every single Red Raider to be confident and courageous throughout their academic career here.
Although next year's Red Raider Talks hasn't been planned yet, Davis says she hopes to create similar events in the future. For more information on future Red Raider Talks, you can go to @RedRaiderTalks on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. For MCTV, I'm Samantha Olson.
So Evan, have you made any changes to your plans since spring break has been extended 2 weeks?
More time with my friends and family, of course.
Hey, sounds good. That's all for today's edition of the MCTV Weekday Update.
We'll be on hiatus as the university sorts through the coronavirus situation, but in the meantime, you can check ttuhub.net every day for more news. Stay safe and have a great spring break.